my friends, we'll be off to new adventures, you will see. Off to the center of the earth or the bottom of the sea, so come with me. To the center of the earth, where life has started first, so many things for us to learn. Solve the major mysteries that lie so deep within our precious world. On the bottom of the sea, we're down so many leagues, just to find the proof we need. And the center of the earth, the center of the earth.
Travel is what we like to do.
Our adventures old and new,
They keep us strong.
why don't you help us set our sails? We'll discover many trails, so come along.
Rigodon
And Tico too.
with Romy and new friends for you.
Join me along with all my friends on a trip that never ends to many places old and new. To the center of the earth, where life is starting first, so many things for us to learn. Solve the major mysteries that lie so deep within our precious world. And the center of the earth, the bottom of the sea, the center of the earth, you gotta come with me.
Mon Dieu, it has only been 6 quiet months since we made our incredible journey around the world in 80 days, so none of us were expecting the amazing new adventure which we were shortly to experience.
Rigodon, wake up! Come on, lazy bones, it's a time for you to wake up! Hey, Rigodon! Hey!
Oh, what is all this noise, Tico? What is it?
You fool! Do you have any idea what the time it is, huh?
The time, Tico? Oh, I've overslept. Oh dear.
Hey, don't worry about it, Rigodon. It's only 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, but Mr. Fogg always has his first cup of tea at 8:23 exactly. Quick, Tico, quick!
Oh, Princess Romy, good morning, my dear. A beautiful flower for my lovely wife. You're up nice and early today.
Oh, Willy, you're such a gentleman. What a beautiful scent, and what a wonderful day it is, don't you think?
I agree. It's a wonderful day and warm enough to have breakfast in the garden. I just wish that Rigodon were more punctual. It's the one habit he cannot afford to let slip.
Oh, Willy, I don't think you should be so demanding of such a good man as Rigodon.
I'm afraid I have to be. Look, it's nearly breakfast time and there's no sign of Rigodon or Tico.
But, Willy, what difference does a minute or two make on such a beautiful day?
A minute or two can make all the difference in the world, my dear. Butlers should always be punctual. To maintain an orderly life, one must observe the clock and remain punctual at all times.
But, my darling, there's still time. See?
We are punctual, sir.
I agree with Rigodon. We are the best butlers in the world. Breakfast is served.
Your favorite Earl Grey tea, princess.
And here is a plate of toast with your favorite marmalade, just how you like it.
What a marvelous day, sir. Just right for taking your breakfast in the garden. And I would never forgive myself if you were unable to enjoy this moment because of me. I know how important punctuality is for you. Forgive me, sir, but as I was putting the breakfast tray down, I could not help noticing you had brought out the scrapbook of our fantastic journey around the world.
Yes, Rigodon, a record of our remarkable journey around the world in 80 days.
Oh, darling, what an adventure. I'm so glad we have this album to remind us of those exciting times.
Now let's see. London, Paris, Brindisi. It only took us 7 days to reach Suez. Bombay.
That's where I lost my bowler hat.
And that's where we met, you and I.
They were dangerous times, but I'd gladly do it all again. It was the best part of the journey.
You saved my life that day.
We all helped to save you, Princess, all of us. That was a really tricky moment back there.
Mon Dieu, none of us would ever be able to forget that day deep in the Indian jungle. The Princess Romy was at the mercy of a wicked priestess, and she was about to be sacrificed to the god Kali when we decided to rescue her. We were nearly too late. The acrobatic skills that I learned in the circus came in very useful, I can tell you. While my friend Tico drew the soldiers' fire, I carried the princess onto an elephant's back, and we took her to safety, and eventually to England.
Curse him! If it wasn't for Willy Fog, I'd still be governor at the Bank of England.
Willy Fog won that bet fairly, Sullivan.
Well, I must say, I totally agree with you, Lord Guinness. Well, it's not my lucky day. I must say, though, it was a very risky bet.
Risky, you say? And what would you know about it? Right from the start, your newspaper was on the side of that arrogant...
That's hardly the way to talk about a fellow member of this club, Mr. Sullivan. Good afternoon to you all, gentlemen. I see you've started without me.
Curses!
Your ball.
Thank you. Ha!
Fog, would you be kind enough to take me through to the library? I've got something very interesting to tell you about a friend of mine who's a professor of geology. His name is Otto Lidenbrock, an old but charming bumbler who teaches in Hamburg, and I would be most grateful to you if you could assist him with some research that he's doing.
I'd be delighted, my dear chap.
Otto has made a very important discovery, a discovery so secret that he couldn't even tell me about it in his letter. Yes, he's a funny fellow, very absent-minded, you know.
Yes, I understand.
Ah, there are my glasses. I was wondering what happened to them. Thank you, I can see much better now. Lidenbrock arrives in London very soon. I hope you will be able to help him.
Mr. Fogg, I am Professor Lidenbrock, and this is my nephew Axel.
I've been expecting you, gentlemen. Please come in.
You were expecting us. You see, Axel, Mr. Willy Fog was expecting us.
Lord Guinness told me about your visit, Professor Lidenbrock, but please don't stand out there. Do come in. Rigodon, Tico, be so kind, please, as to help these two gentlemen with their luggage.
Thank you, Mr. Fogg. You have a beautiful house. Most hospitable.
Professor Lidenbrock, this is my wife, Princess Romy,
Delighted, I'm sure, Princess. I am at your service.
and his nephew and assistant, Axel.
It is indeed an honor, Princess Romy.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt, but would you like me to take the two gentlemen's luggage upstairs now?
Yes, Rigodon, and show Professor Lidenbrock and his nephew to the guest bedroom.
So you see, Mr. Fogg, I have made a scientific discovery of enormous importance, and now I must take one last step.
Only one more step, Professor.
Yes, one gigantic step, if only we dare take it.
Tell me more, Professor Lidenbrock. It sounds fascinating.
Have you ever heard of Arne Saknussemm?
Are you referring to the Icelandic alchemist of the 16th century?
You know about Saknussemm. Amazing. Lord Guinness was right. You're just the person I'm looking for to join my expedition.
I should point out to you, Professor Lidenbrock, that many of today's scientists regard Arne Saknussemm as nothing more than a legend.
Legend? Nonsense. I am convinced that Saknussemm himself was the owner of this ancient book. I found it by pure chance. It's a marvelous 12th century runic manuscript.
Quite fantastic. It certainly looks authentic.
Oh, it is. The book itself is just a chronicle about a princess who ruled Iceland at the time. But the really interesting thing about this book is what I found inside it. Have you any idea what it is, Mr. Fogg?
I'm sorry, I've no idea.
I found a secret message. Look! It's also written in runic characters, but over 4 centuries later.
What? 400 years later?
I'm sure I'm correct. What do you think, Mr. Fogg?
The first letter is a double M, which, as I recall, was not used in the Icelandic alphabet until the 16th century. You're right, Professor. No doubt about it. Somebody hid the message in the book.
Who do you suppose it was?
Could it be Arne Saknussemm?
Well, Mr. Fogg, judge for yourself.
By Jove! That's Saknussemm's name in runic characters.
Precisely, but just what the message means, I don't know. I have been trying to decipher it, but I failed.
That's because this is a cryptogram. The letters have all been deliberately changed around, Professor. If we can get all these letters in the right order, we should discover what Saknussemm was trying to tell us.
It looks to me as if it is related to a modern language, like French or Spanish, or quite possibly Italian, yeah?
I'm inclined to disagree. Scholars of the 16th century would often write important messages in Latin, but these definitely look like runic characters. It doesn't make sense.
Latin, eh? Who'd have thought it? I must say you have a remarkable brain. Please try to decipher it, Mr. Fogg. You are my last hope.
Cryptograms require a methodical approach, Professor. I'm sure we can unravel this.
Dinner is served, gentlemen.
Do your best, Mr. Fogg.
Thank you, Rigodon. The Professor and I will be along shortly.
It is 10 o'clock and they have still not had their dinner.
It's a shame to waste the soup, you know.
It's unusual for my uncle to miss a meal. He has a very large appetite.
Perhaps he wants to slim. That's why he's starving himself tonight.
Mr. Fogg has never been late for dinner. It must be something to do with a book your uncle showed him, Axel. I overheard them talking about a secret message that was discovered in the book.
My uncle has been hinting about such a thing ever since we left Hamburg, Princess, but he won't tell me about it.
Professor Lidenbrock thinks that the secret message was put there by a famous alchemist and traveller called Arne Saknussemm hundreds of years ago.
Mon Dieu, traveller, did you say? This household needs no more travelling. Your uncle is not planning to travel, is he?
Don't worry, Rigodon. All that interests my uncle are rocks and anything which explains how the Earth was formed. He's been studying rocks all his life.
Hey, Axel, what's the bouncy thing on a string? I would like to see it. Can I have a go, huh? What do you say?
It is a yo-yo compass. When I play with it, it helps me to relax. Here, have a look, Tico.
A yo-yo compass. Hey, I like it. I wish I had one of these when I was in the circus. Roll up and see Tico and this amazing yo-yo.
Mon Dieu. That night I went to bed and slept like a top, not knowing that Mr. Willy Fog and Professor Lidenbrock were working on a secret formula, the outcome of which would mean I would soon be saying goodbye to London and my warm, comfortable bed. How ignorant I was.
It's 2 minutes past 8, and I still haven't managed to crack the code. What is it?
Good morning, sir. I thought you might like to shave in here, huh?
After all, if a man can't have a shave in his own study, where can he have a shave, huh?
Thank you, Rigodon. A good idea. You really are an excellent butler.
Thank you, sir.
What about me? Don't I count?
Of course you do, Tico. Of course you do. Good heavens above! Now I understand. So that's what it was. Centrum. Do you understand, Rigodon?
No, sir, no. I don't understand anything. But I'm glad that my master is looking so happy today.
It's amazing. I should have thought of it before. I think we've got it. Rigodon, stand next to me. Now look in the mirror and tell me what you see. Well?
Centrum, sir?
Center in Latin. And now?
Descender?
They're written backwards. It's known as mirror writing. It's a mixture of Latin and runic characters. Rigodon, write this down.
Yes, sir. I am ready, Mr. Fogg.
Professor Lidenbrock, wake up. I say, Professor, I think we've cracked the code.
What's that?
Saknussemm's message. I now know how to decode it. Now let's see. Go down the crater of Sophils. No, the crater of Sneffels, where the peak of Scartaris casts its shadow.
Not so fast.
Where the peak of Scartaris casts its shadow in the first few days of July.
The first few days of July?
And then you will reach the center of the earth. I have been there.
Mon Dieu. Did you say to the center of the earth, Mr. Fogg?
That's precisely what I said, Rigodon, to the center of the earth. And it's signed by the author himself, Arne Saknussemm.
Oh no, here we go again.
Good day.
Good morning.
What? Ah, Mr. Fogg, it is a pleasure to see you here again. And what's more, it is a pleasure to see you again.
A good morning to you, Mr. Stewart. He's very helpful, but he has a strange habit of repeating himself. Mr. Stewart, allow me to introduce you to Professor Lidenbrock, a geologist of international renown. I'm hoping to find something here that will help him with his important research.
Very pleased to meet you. What a huge number of books there are on these shelves. It is a privilege for a poor scientist to study here, surrounded by such knowledge.
Indeed, my dear Professor, I agree. It is a magnificent library, and naturally, it's all at your disposal.
If I had just one of these shelves full of books at my university in Hamburg, I assure you I would be the happiest man on earth.
Well, this book will tell us if there is any truth in the legend of Arne Saknussemm. Nothing, my dear friend. I'm afraid there is nothing in this book to prove that Arne Saknussemm ever existed.
Of course he existed. He was a learned Icelander who lived in the 16th century. He was also a very well-known and respected alchemist.
Judging by his message, he was a great traveller too, but we still have no proof of his existence.
Do you still have some doubts about him, Mr. Fogg?
None whatsoever, my friend, but as there is not a single mention of Saknussemm in this book, we appear to have reached a dead end. I'm sorry.
It's disappointing.
Mr. Fogg!
Yes?
Perhaps this will help you. I'd forgotten I had it, you see. It's a very old book, and I'd forgotten I had it. I hope it helps.
Well, what is it, Mr. Fogg? Could it be of any help to us, do you think?
It's 16th century history.
Listen to this. I think I found something. Arne Saknussemm, the alchemist, was persecuted by government officials for presumed witchcraft.
Arne Saknussemm.
Open up in there! Arne Saknussemm, you are wanted by the law.
Quick, break down the door before he destroys the evidence.
Oh, no.
There's no escape, Saknussemm.
I must hide my manuscript and hope that one day someone will unlock its secret.
Break down the door. Do you hear me? Break it down.
We're going to put an end to your mischief, Saknussemm.
Must finish. One day someone will find it.
You're under arrest.
What right do you have to break into my house in the middle of the night? I am an honest citizen. I'm not a criminal. I've done nothing wrong. I have committed no crime. Do you hear me?
It's all over, Saknussemm. I shall make sure that you do not write any more fantasies and lies that will deceive the public ever again.
Burn all these lies. Get rid of all this rubbish once and for all. We'll teach you a lesson, Saknussemm.
Stop. You do not know what you are doing.
Oh, we know exactly what we're doing, Saknussemm. We're going to destroy you. We know you practice witchcraft, Saknussemm, and we're going to put an end to it. Do you honestly expect people to believe you when you say you have been to the center of the earth? What nonsense!
I write the truth about things I have seen and experienced. I must share my discoveries. You must not be afraid of science. I tell you, I have been there. I only write about what I have seen with my own eyes. Facts which will be useful to scientists of the future.
Be quiet, Saknussemm, or we'll burn you as well as your books.
Oh, no, not that one.
Come on, let's go.
My secret is safe. Shh! Please, Professor.
So Arne Saknussemm was persecuted by government officials for trying to tell the public about his adventures. Don't you see, Mr. Fogg? It is possible to get to the center of the earth.
According to this book, his journey was as real as our presence in this very library. There's not the slightest doubt.
I'm pleased to see you happy, Professor. What's more, I'm pleased to see you happy.
Happy? Yes, I'm very happy. Mr. Stewart, you have an extraordinary library.
Hello.
Ah, Professor, let me introduce you to Ralph, a reporter from the Morning Chronicle.
Absolutely delighted to meet you.
It's always a pleasure to meet a friend of Mr. Fogg's.
The pleasure is all mine, sir, I can assure you.
You must excuse him, Ralph. The Professor's happy because we've just found out something very important.
Not just important, of the utmost importance. You will be a witness to something which will change the face of modern science.
After some research, we believe that over 3 centuries ago, an Icelandic alchemist called Arne Saknussemm travelled to the centre of the earth.
Really?
Mwah! At last, we can prove his journey took place.
A journey to the centre of the earth? Why, gentlemen, that's absurd.
Now we must find out why his journey started from the Sneffels volcano. Once we know that, we can follow in his footsteps.
The Sneffels volcano? You mean in Iceland?
That volcano has kept its secret for more than 300 years. We shall get more information about it down at the Reform Club. Well, shall we go, gentlemen?
To the center of the earth?
Come in, come in! Didn't you hear me? I said come in! Stop banging on my door and come in, curse you! Huh? Huh? What's the meaning of all this? What's the meaning of all this? Now look here! Now look here!
Ah!
What's going on? Ah!
Uh-oh. It's okay, boss. It's only me, Transfer. It was just a joke. I wanted to show you that I'm still the best disguise artist and a mimic in London.
That's as maybe, but never impersonate me again.
Okay, boss, I won't do it again. I just thought you'd like to see for yourself that I'm still in good form.
You'll need to be in good form to help me in my new business.
New business? What kind of new business?
Betting, my dear Transfer, betting. And I want you to help me to take money from all those gullible gamblers.
That will be my pleasure.
Yes, to the center of the earth.
What utter nonsense. A journey to the center of the earth, gentlemen. In all my years as a banker and lately as owner of a betting office, I've never heard of anything so stupid. Only you, Willy Fog, could talk such ridiculous nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's been done before, you know.
Yes, and we'll do it again.
That's right. We will.
Together we shall prove to the world that Arne Saknussemm was no liar.
It will be a great pleasure to help you write a new chapter in the history of science, Professor.
And it will be a great pleasure for me to accompany you to the center of the earth.
And, Mr. Sullivan, scholars such as Arne Saknussemm never lie, sir. You shouldn't forget that.
Am I to assume, Mr. Fogg, that you and Professor Lidenbrock intend to make a journey to the center of the earth?
That is correct. We will follow Arne Saknussemm's instructions.
Right, Mr. Fogg. Let's see if you're prepared to put your money where your mouth is. I'll wager £20,000 that you cannot produce proof this Saknussemm fellow made the journey to the center of the earth. Bring me evidence and £20,000 is yours, Mr. Fogg.
Let's make one thing clear, Mr. Sullivan.
What's the matter? Changed your mind already, Mr. Fogg?
Not at all, Mr. Sullivan. Once I've made up my mind about something, I see it through to the end. My calculations show that this journey should take 70 days, so you will have your proof before the 23rd of August.
So be it, Fogg, but remember you must bring back indisputable evidence. Proof, something we can all see and touch.
You'll lose the bet, Sullivan.
Good luck to you, gentlemen.
And so once more, we left London to start a long and dangerous journey to the unknown. We would have to travel many miles in planes and ships to reach Iceland and the Sneffels volcano. It felt as if a sinister presence followed us every step of the way on our new adventure. And I wondered if we would ever return alive. Watch the adventures of Willy Fog next time and see if our journey does indeed take us to the center of the earth.
Glad to see you again, I'm Romy. Nice to have you along, so deep in the earth. Willy, Tico and me,
Along with good old Rigodon, want to say that we're glad you're along.
journeys through uncharted distant lands, places no one ever gets the chance to see. We set out our quest to find the truth, Tico, Rigodon and me.
And me.
Come and join us again the next time. We'll continue our journeys. Wait, you'll see.
Danger follows us through.
In everything we do,
There's nothing we won't try.
And nothing we won't do.
Only thing that we need